On that committee, Florida Congressman Greg Steube. Congressman, thanks for joining us. I was shocked to read this morning that Jerry Nadler wanted no part of this. I mean, we're talking Jerry impeachment Nadler here. Does that just underscore how far-fetched this has become?
Well, I think what was interesting was his quote was said, we're too busy trying to impeach the president or dealing with impeachment of the president to be focused on that right now. You know, it's just sad that we've gotten to a place in American politics where people can just make an accusation with no basis, no evidence, no facts to back it up. And then suddenly it becomes a narrative to the point where the New York Times is retracting their story and the justice doesn't even have the opportunity for due process to defend himself. The witness that apparently this happened to is saying that she doesn't remember it happening. The other people that were there says they don't remember it happening. So there's absolutely no evidence to back this up. Yet here we are talking about Justice Kavanaugh again and slandering a good justice's name.
Well, yesterday morning in Axios, there was a description of the Democratic strategy for 2020, which said the idea would be to create villains of President Trump, Mitch McConnell, and Brett Kavanaugh. So, I mean, maybe there's not a coincidence that this faulty story was published in the first place.
The Democrats want to do anything they can now to undermine the Supreme Court. And so by doing this, they're creating this narrative to undermine anything and everything that he does. Even Ford's own attorney talked about that this was purely political and he would have an asterisk behind his name for the rest of his career. And that's now what they're trying to do. They're trying to politicize the court by politicizing Trump's nominee. And Americans should just not stand for it. And I hope that they don't.
Are you surprised, though, how quickly a lot of politicians, mostly Democrats, seized on this New York Times story so swiftly, without any vetting of their own, to even come up with the idea of impeachment?
Well, it's just how they've seized on the narrative of collusion with Russia and the Trump campaign. I'm sitting in a Judiciary Committee hearing right now, and that's what we're talking about. So for 2 years, we dealt with this narrative from the mainstream media and the left that there was this collusion with the Trump campaign, and after 22 months of investigation, I'll find out there's no collusion whatsoever, no evidence of collusion. So anytime they have anything that they can make people look negative that are conservatives, they're going to take that opportunity to do it. And I hope that the American people can see through that.
And again, you're referring to a former Trump aide, Corey Lewandowski, who did face your committee today. What we saw, of course, he's the first witness in the Democrats' impeachment probe. To your point, you were there. I'm reading headlines out of this, and it's like the hearing descends into a chaos and the personal vitriolic attacks. Very little questioning. The American public, is it okay for us to see? I mean, I know about the sausage making, but this seems to be something entirely different.
You have chairmen of the Judiciary Committee not following their own rules. You have them making their own rules and not following it. You have such a lack of decorum where members of Congress are calling the witness a chicken, despite the fact that he showed up here voluntarily. And then after he agreed to show up here voluntarily, he was subpoenaed by the chair. So it's just, I think people are sick and tired of these political games. They're sick and tired of these narratives. They know that there was no collusion between the Trump campaign and Russia, yet the Democrats have no other thing that they can talk about because they don't want to talk about their policy narratives. They don't want to talk about the Green New Deal and Medicare for All because they know the American people don't support that. So here we are again talking about impeachment.
Congressman, thank you very much. We'll let you get back. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.